Shalom. In sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today, I'll be coming out with a lesson, and it was inspired by a lesson that the brother Mayak Allah up there in Philadelphia, uh, it was about 2 days ago, but nonetheless, it was a lesson that he did, and then, well, it started before he started. There was a woman that walked up to him and was asking, like, how could she learn what it is she needs to do to be able to more or less get caught up on what's actually going on. And that's what inspired this lesson. And people don't understand that the men of the Lord are out on the highways and the byways so that, for one, prophesy, for two, preach the word to let our people know, but for three, if our people have any questions or need any understanding on anything, that they can come to the men of the Lord. But you have these militant, false Israelite camps, that are harsh and abrasive to people all the time. So when they see the true men of the Lord out on the highways and the byways, they get tensed up, and they want to. That's why they walk around. That's why they'll turn around and go back the other way, because of these false dudes. But at the same time, it's also a level of fear there, because they know in their spirit as well that, oh, this is the setup of the Lord, and people be knowing when they're not right. But nonetheless, sometimes when the men of the Lord are out there, we have to be abrasive, because our people are disrespectful and hard-headed, as on the video. The brother was trying to teach, and Jake was just over there giving the sacrifice of fools, running his mouth. I don't know if the lady had walked off or not, but, Jake was just over there, a big mouth Jake, just disrespectful and all that stuff like that. But nonetheless, the men of the Lord are out there for a reason, to preach, to prophesy, to teach our people, to let our people know. So I just got a few scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. It says, although the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. So though our people go through adversity, we face hard and trying times, nonetheless, when it come down to the word, when it come down to the men of the Lord, when it come down to the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, his teachers, his preachers, his prophets, his apostles, they will not be moved into a corner anymore, meaning the men of the Lord will not be overlooked, pushed away, get out from over here and go teach over there somewhere where people can't see. No, that's not happening, because the Lord has his men out here on the highways and the byways for all eyes to see, for people to see. So especially the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled birds. The speckled bird, meaning the Israelites that look like these other nations, scattered among these other nations, walking, talking like them, doing everything they do, but their bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It goes back to the true people of the Lord. But nonetheless, again, although the Lord gives us the bread of adversity, we get tried. We go through hard times, trying times, the waters of affliction. The Lord afflict us, but nonetheless, the teachers of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will not be pushed or moved into a corner anymore. The Lord says, our eyes are going to see our teachers. And that's what's going on right now. People see the men of the Lord out there in the highways and the byways. Well, the men of the Lord are the teachers of Yahweh Yahushua. They're the prophets, they're the preachers, they're the teachers, the ministers, the evangelists, the apostles. And then we're not pushing the corner anymore, meaning the Lord got us out here to be seen by all, so they can be taught, so that they can hear their judgment, hear prophecy. And for those of our people that has any questions, that's why we're out there. But let's continue. Verse 21. It says, in thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. So, again, the men of the Lord out there saying, what we speak is the way of truth. It is of Yahweh Shem Shai. It said, when your ears hear a word behind you, say, hey, this the right way. This the right path. This the way you're supposed to be going. You hear the voice of the Lord. It say, this is the way that you're supposed to be going. The men that are out there with garments down to the foot, preaching the words of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and also coming in the names and going according to the truth, the doctrine, that's the way. That's the way to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. The men of the Lord are, hey, this is the way. Letting our people know when you hear this truth, when you hear the voice, because it's the voice of the Lord, really. It's the voice of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. When you hear that, the Lord says behind you, say, hey, look here, walk this way. Like the Run DMC song when he paired up. I don't know who that was, but back then. Anyways, that was just a reference. But the Lord says, this is the way, and walk in it. Walk in the truth. This is the way of truth. This is the fact that you see the men of the Lord out there on the highways and the byways. That's the way of truth. The words that they speak, the names that they call on, the names that they pray in, the names that they're telling people to call on. That's the way of truth. And when you turn in it left or right, don't walk away from it. Whether you go left or whether you go right, walk in the truth of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Let's continue. This is Jeremiah chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and will take you one of a city and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion. So the Lord is telling his people, turn unto me. For I am married. The Lord he entered into a covenant with us. He's keeping his words. He said that he would keep his covenant with Israel to 1,000 generations. Well, the Lord is making good on his word. He's keeping his promise. But the Lord is also telling his people, because a lot of our people are backsliding children. They have walked away from the Lord. The Lord says, turn back to him, for he is married unto us. And he says, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion. Meaning the Lord is going to call back those who turn back to him, those of our people that listen to him and turn back. They're going to get salvation. One of a city, Salakia, Yakan. One of a city and two of a family. Lord is saying, turn back to me and receive salvation. Verse 15, it says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So the Lord is telling our people to turn back to him, and he will give them what? Pastors. He'll give them teachers according to his heart, according to how he set things up to go. Which will feed our people, which will feed them with the knowledge and the understanding of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. That's why the men of the Lord are out there on the highways and the byways. To preach, to prophesy, to preach, to teach. And again, if our people have any questions, answer them, But a lot of our people, they come up to the men of the Lord, giving the sacrifice of fools, running their mouth, over talking the men of the Lord, being disrespectful, big mouth, saying all kind of things that they shouldn't say. And if they ask a question, it's an open-ended question. It's never really, they can never really, they don't really want a solid answer, or they ask questions to trap up or try and trip up those of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai that know, rather than asking the question and receiving the answer and saying, oh, okay, that's what that is. That's what that means. This is why this. Yeah. But they would rather come up being wicked. But this is what the men of the Lord are supposed to do out there on the highways and the byways. And the men of the Lord are out there because my elder, he says it all the time, like, yeah, you got questions, we'll answer your questions. That's why we out here, to answer your questions if you have any questions. If not, be quiet, hear the word of the Lord, hear the prophecies, hear what's going to happen, and then you move along. But last point, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. It says, but sanctify the Lord Yahweh power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear. So again, we must be what? Ready, and always be ready to what? To give an answer. Like somebody has a question, we can give them an answer. And we should, to every man that asks us the reason of our hope. Hey, why you believe in this, or why this, or why that? Well, we can answer that. And we're to do that what? With meekness, humbleness, and fear, respect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, using wisdom when you're talking to people. Because if you're using rough words, grievous words, stir up anger. That's if I'm not mistaken, that's Proverbs chapter 15 at the top, verse 1. Grievous words stir up anger, but a soft answer turneth away wrath. So that's why the Lord says what? When somebody asks us of the reason of the hope that is within us, we answer what? With meekness and fear. Fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Verse 16, my last point. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as evildoers, that they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Hamashiach. So good. We have a good conscience while we're out there in the highways and the byways. And we have those that do speak evil of the men of the Lord. They want to say things like we wearing dresses, we holler at people, we accosting people, and all kind of manner of different things. But again, the men of the Lord speak evil. But the Lord tells us to have a slakia. People speak evil of the men of the Lord when we're out there on the highways and the byways, you know. But they're doing it what? So what? Because they're going to be ashamed that falsely accuse us of our good conversation of Hamashiach. But we're to still have a good conscience, you know. Nonetheless, we're to have a good conscience while we're out there. But that's why the men of the Lord are on the highways and the byways, to prophesy, to preach, and to teach, and answer questions if someone has a question that needs to be answered, you know. And most times, it's I ain't gonna say it's rare, but it's not frequent that people come up with legitimate questions and they get the answers from the scriptures and they like, oh, that's what that means. You have a lot of people that come up with the tomfoolery, you know, but nonetheless, that be the Lord showing that when it come down to a lot of people, they don't believe in them. But nonetheless, I ain't finna do too much talking. That was the point. And with that, shalom.